So we're into the last few weeks of the levy campaign, and I've been asked by the levy committee to provide another informational bite for you so that you feel more informed when you go to the ballot box on May 3rd to cast your vote, hopefully for the 5.3 mil levy that the Board of Education has placed on the ballot. Before we get into that, it's important to me to express to you that as I've traveled through the community, I have learned a great deal about your interests, your concerns, and what I've learned is from some of you, you're concerned about the constant discussion about finance when it comes to public education, and that's created a divide in our community and many communities across the state of Ohio. For me, that's a very difficult subject. Although finance is a very important part of the educational process, I believe that it has become more of the conversation in our state and across the nation than the actual value of education. Specifically in Brecksville-Broadview Heights, the value of the education that our students get from teachers, from the support of the community, and certainly from the interaction with parents involved in the entire process. You know, on our performance in the state of Ohio, we're 16th in the state. We are among the top in the state in our OAA testing, our OGT testing. Our students perform in the top 1%. On the ACT, we are 2.7% higher than the state average, 3.5% higher than the national average. Our students in their AP courses last year gained their parents opportunities for about $600,000 worth of savings as they go into college because they can use credits from high school AP courses to take that into college. We have a 107.8 on the performance index, which, as I said earlier, puts us in the top 16 schools in the state of Ohio. And I think those things are pretty important when we think about a levy and we think about financial support of a school district, because student performance is ultimately our main responsibility, providing our students with the best opportunities possible to be competitive in this world, not only in Brecksville-Broadview Heights, but in this larger world, in real time. So what have we done over the past few years to try to address the financial side, to protect the educational side? Well, you've heard about $3.1 million worth of cuts that we've made in programming and in staffing over the past 2 years. Most likely you've heard about the negotiation process that provided the district with another $1 million worth of savings. We have a restructure plan that will go into place next year that has eliminated 25 staff members across the district. It is a restructure plan that protects the educational opportunities for students but reduces the staff expense related to that. And the final thing that has happened in the last few weeks is that we have a TRIP in effect, which is a timely retirement incentive plan, which provides the opportunity an additional $570,000 savings over the next 3 years by eliminating those most costly staff members on our compensation payroll. We also have done one thing that I think is important to remind people of. The past 2 times the levy's been on, it's been a 5.8 mil levy, and this time, based on a responsive Board of Education, we have reduced that millage to 5.3. So when you add those things up together, we're exceeding about $5 million, actually a little higher than $5 million over the past 3 years and into the future. So those things are very important because, again, the goal of the levy is to protect opportunities and experiences for students that make them competitive so that we can serve them in the best ways possible, in the most efficient, most economical ways to protect the taxpayer dollar, but again, at the same time, protecting what has made this district great. Well, in the last couple of weeks, we've heard something else, and it's been a big discussion in the state, it's been in the newspapers, it's been on the television, and that's the state budget. Well, in a nutshell, what does that mean to us in Brecksville-Broadview Heights? Well, it means next year, $2.9 million will be removed from our budget. So the 5.3 mil levy with the restructure and all the things that we've tried to do over the past 3 years that was going to have us in fiscal year 2015 at $3 million above the cash, on a cash balance. With the new budget, even with a 5.3 mil levy, we anticipate we would be about almost $2 million below the budget as far as the cash balance is concerned. So the state budget has not helped us out. And that is why in the last few weeks, this has become even more critical for our school district. We did anticipate cuts. We did factor cuts into the 5-year forecast. We prepared for the cuts for the state budget. We recognize that we too have to play a part in helping the state with its budgetary issues. But we did not expect such a large amount in such an abrupt fashion that would impact us in such a negative way. This is a serious game changer for our school district, and it really creates a situation that requires us to think much more in a focused way about this levy and about how this levy is going to help us. So what are we doing about these things? Well, I think over the next few years, with all the things that we have done up to this point, you're going to continue to see efficiencies built into our programming. You're going to continue to see restructures. You will continue to see attrition opportunities when it becomes available to us. You will see opportunities to reduce the cost of education in our school district. You'll also probably see a change in the negotiation process and how that looks in the state of Ohio. Whether it happens locally or it comes from a higher entity is still yet to be known, but I do think we're going to see some differences in that approach over the next year. So in addition to that, I think it's important for us to remember that local control is important. However, there are individuals in the state who are, if you will, holding the purse strings right now. And so we need to talk to those people that are elected representatives in our state. They need to understand the local impact of reducing $2.9 million from our budget. Our school district has not been on the ballot for new money since 2004. I've stated before, and I'll state again, the funding system in the state of Ohio is unconstitutional. It has been ruled unconstitutional on 4 different occasions. For that reason, school districts, not only ours, across the state, are coming back to voters more and more, 3- and 5-year cycles. And again, in our district, it has been 7 years since we last asked for additional dollars. As we think about the future, levy, state budget, Senate Bill 5, all the things that are out there, all the tools that are available for us, I think we need to keep that in mind, but we also need to prepare for the present. We're not quite sure what's going to happen with the state budget. There's still some discussion about that. There's still some discussion about Senate Bill 5. Will there be a referendum? Will there be a vote in November? There's plenty of discussion about collective bargaining in the state of Ohio and all the possibilities of change. But for today, for right now, for our students in this particular moment in time, it is essential that we pass this school levy. Absent of this levy, there will need to be reductions that are less controlled and with less community input than what we've had over the past year and prior to that. There's really no getting around it. The cuts will be so abrupt and they will be so significant that I believe it will destabilize the district and we will never return to the excellence for which this district is known. I don't want to predict a negative future for our school district, but I do want you to consider what happens in communities when the local school district does not perform at the expectation of the local community. What's the morale? What's the Friday night football game look like? Who attends the plays? What types of things are going on in the community that maybe are not associated with the school district that for many, many years have been? What type of value does the community get back from the school district? How are the senior citizens involved in the schools? How are the schools involved in partnerships with the community? When those types of things break down, then opportunities for students break down. In this particular situation, we have 2 fantastic communities who over time have supported their local schools. In turn, our students, our staff, and our school districts have been able to perform at a level that is uncommon. And I think that's what we're looking for in Brecksville, Broadview Heights. We are uncommon. We are not a normal school system. We don't want to be a normal school system. We don't want to be a normal community. And so the expectation is high, not only for student performance, but for efficiency, for productivity, for watching the community's dollar. We need to protect that. This is a time when the finance, when the rhetoric, when all of the things that have been out there need to be sifted through to get to the real value of what's important in our community. Strong schools with strong partnerships with our community. Think about the recent things that you've seen, the direction of the administration, the transparency of our Board of Education, and the opportunities available for students now and that need to be available in the future. I ask you to consider all of these things for May 3rd. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to work with you and for you for the benefit of the children in this school district.